Hey climbers, it's Steve Bechtel. Listen, this video is not a training video and this subject matter is not in my wheelhouse, but it's really an important thing. And if you've been watching social media or the news, you've probably heard about this one big, beautiful bill act and the land disposal rider that's going along with it through the Senate right now. Basically, what we're going to see is the availability of millions of acres of otherwise wonderful public land that we can all go and use, go up on the chopping block and go for sale. Although the language in the act is really vague, one of the things that stands is there's potential for us to lose public land access that is land that we all recreate on. This includes local climbing areas like our areas of Sinks Canyon and Wild Iris, but it also includes areas near our big urban areas where people go to recreate. Little pieces of BLM or forest land where trails, mountain biking, all kinds of public recreation takes place at this point. The rate at which these land sales will occur moves at an alarming pace. The first nominations are due within 30 days of the bill's passing, and then they'll come up again every 60 days until this arbitrary multi-million acre number is met. This rush timeline bypasses due process, it bypasses public hearings, it bypasses any opportunity for public comment. It's just going to start happening. Even though the language of this bill is convoluted and hard to understand, the one thing we can take home is it's bad for public land users. All of this land is potentially there to be disposed of, as they term it in the language of the legislation. And if you've never done a call to your senator, if you've never sent an email, now is the time. Sharing this on social media is not enough. Talking about it with your friends at the bouldering gym is not enough. It's super easy to make contact with the US senators, super easy to go and send an email to them, but I'm going to ask you today to do both of those things. You're going to email your senator, you're going to call your senator. This takes about 5 minutes of your time, and it might be the most existentially important thing to rock climbing in America that you'll ever do. Here's the big thing. If you live in a state that has Republican senators, you absolutely have to get in touch with these people. This is not a partisan issue. This is an issue about being able to use American public land. Now, public land isn't just for recreation. Public land gets used for grazing, for oil and gas, for minerals. We use it for all kinds of things, but the vast amount of American public land is useful because it's there and we can continue to use it for all of these purposes. The second that gets sold off, it is no longer accessible to us or to future generations, and so the long-term value of these things continues to drop. What we need to do is get in touch with these senators, tell them that we're opposed to the disposal of any public land, let them know that you're a voting member of their constituency and that you're extremely concerned about this particular issue. What's clear is that the vast majority of climbing that takes place in the United States is on public land, land managed by the BLM or the United States Forest Service. These lands are all potentially at risk for sale. The language in the bill is so arbitrary, it's really hard to tell what they're up to. But the fact is, there's a good opportunity for them to take land that we would rather see in the hands of the public in the United States instead of in the hands of one individual. In some of the responses we've gotten from senators, they talk about there not being a good way of disposing of public lands or transferring land between different agencies, and that's simply not true. It's just that the current way that we can change land ownership in the United States has to go through a longer due process. The current bill fast forwards that process and takes away a lot of the checks and balances associated with a really profound change in ownership of public land. If seeing some posts on social media and watching this video isn't enough, I urge you to follow the link in the description of this video and look at the map. When you look at the map of these lands that are potentially on the disposal list, you're going to be shocked. And so in the description of this video, we're going to add not only a link to that map so you can go in and see for yourself, but a link to all of the resources and who you can contact. Now, finally, if you're not an American, if you're not a person that lives in these Western states, I still urge you to get in touch with these senators and get in touch with the congressmen. You can call up from England and say, hey, I'm a climber and I would come there to visit to rock climb, but I'm not going to do it if these public lands aren't available. I think every voice needs to get heard, and I think every view needs to be seen here. There are very few people that are actually going to benefit from such a land sale, and very, very many people that are going to suffer if this goes through.